Hello and welcome to a first ever special of This Woman's Work. And all going well, and unless I've done it wrong, this first special is full of funny stuff. So the funny anecdotes and funny stories that the wonderful women have so far shared with us. So I will simply shut up and say enjoy.
Weirdly, a lot of people think my name is Ruth. So they refer to me as Ruth. And that's because my Instagram handle is Rutland Girl. So I think they just see it, that R-U-T. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh.
But that's a really common thing. People call me Ruth.
And you just chat to them
I know,
as
just
Ruth.
reply back, say only at the weekends.
Because the crematorium is run there as well.
Okay,
so I
yes, yeah.
used to look after the crematorium as well as the cattery, which was for pets.
Yes.
I did have a client come once to say, I've come to collect Millie. And we had a cat in called Millie. And I assumed it was his cat, Millie. So I went through and picked up Millie cat, took it through to him, and then he said, no, my cat's died. So, yeah, that was the... But
did it even look the same? Can you imagine if you'd actually, like, it was like a silver tabby and you suddenly...
I know. And he just came and said, I've come to collect Millie. So I said, OK, no problem.
And he thought his cat had come back to life.
So I went through and got Millie, who was a live cat.
What, I guess, I was going to say problematic's completely the wrong word. Characteristics do you think you have that make your job and what you do tricky for you?
I think being a woman...
Damn you for that.
I think being a woman has got so many different elements to it, and the things that we have to navigate just to be on the same page as our beautiful male counterparts.
A student who did her whole design project in the exam, her exam paper was on, had to be a drink, a soft drink, and she was going to go Coke and lime. That was going to be her thing, but she wasn't very good at spelling, so her drink was actually called Cock and Lime. So her whole GCSE project was based on cock and lime, cordial
throughout,
which was
which probably would sell really well,
probably really tasty. Yeah, I'm sure.
I was sort of looking after this show in London, and I had some really cool editors there, obviously, and the show went really well. But then after the show, one of the key editors had gone to the loo, and I was then catapulted into this whole situation whereby someone had actually taken a poo on the floor of that loo.
Oh gosh, I did not think any of this story was going there.
and I had to deal with that.
What, they just missed the toilet?
Who knows? If anyone can answer that question for me.
Someone out there may have actually listened to this.
To this day, I'm racking my brains.
Wow.
Because you're in this high fashion,
you had a phantom pooer,
luxurious setting, and someone has had a poo on the floor in the loo.
I think probably the weirdest one was when I was doing a manicure and I thought the girl had been gardening, and I was, obviously cleaning her up and, doing the cuticle tidy and all the rest of it. And quickly realising when I started the manicure that it wasn't mud. It was shit.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say she'd got like some weird disease or something.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was pretty
just been
right.
scratching her bum a lot. Or
Just been scratching her bum hole.
There has been poo. What? On my bed. In the style of a skid mark.
So they always watched hadn't wiped before they sat down?
So they'd been to the loo, let's say.
Probably just
before. Probably in my toilet. Came in, I did the intimate wax. I saw some residue, but I didn't want to say anything. I just say, it's not you. This wasn't you last week. I'm not saying this as like this was years ago at the spa. This was years ago, and I didn't want to say. I didn't know what to do.
Did you just
pre-wax, and then did the wax, and then as I turned around and said to the client, if you want to get up and get dressed, there was a line of poo on the couch roll. So I just bundled it up.
Oh, well done. They didn't even know.
So they won't even know now.
One chap, I think he must have been to the studio before, asked if he could book a shoot, but he wanted to watch through the door in the corridor outside the studio, keep the door open and watch the shoot through the door.
Right.
Almost as if he was going to, like, enjoy the shoot as a process.
As a voyeur. So was it his wife in there?
Yes, his wife was going to be
the boudoir,
coming in, and I'd be photographing his wife and doing the boudoir shoot, and he'd be watching through the door.
And doing other stuff, probably.
So I'll just give you a box of tissues while you're there, shall I?
You've seen a couple of figures downstairs. So there's one guy that stands at the doorway between the trolley bar and the long room. And he's very friendly.
So the archway that goes through,
down here.
Yeah.
So he's always there, but he's very friendly and is never aggressive to anyone. There's a really naughty little girl up here.
Right.
Really naughty. He's always causing problems.
Right.
And that's where I think the bells and everything, if it is going to be.
Right. But she's more up here,
yeah.
is she? Ah.
And then we did have one chef who Sarah May absolutely believed brought a poltergeist in with her. So we had to have the whole building cleansed and smudged. Which for me, I was going...
And did it work?
Yeah.
People coming to physio, it's not exactly strange because people do this. They come to physio for like a knee or a hip or a shoulder assessment and with like a lack of underwear. But you need to...
I didn't know where you were going to go with that then.
People need to wear... If anyone's going to the physio is probably going to want to look at the joint that you are going to the physio for as a general rule. So if it is your knee, they probably want to be able to see it, to access your knee. So it's always better to have shorts with you or wear them. Or if you are happy to be in your underwear, wear some. I think like that. I work in the upper limb now, so it happens to me a lot less often.
And as it came sort of towards the point of thinking about Tess, she started saying to me, even though I can drive this car, I can't imagine myself driving a car on my own. I can't imagine myself ever really being behind the wheel of a car on my own.
Oh.
And so I said, well, maybe don't think about yourself then. Maybe give yourself a different name or something. While you're driving the car, just give yourself a different name. You know, you can be somebody else when you're behind the wheel of a car. It's not you, it's someone else. It's sort of tongue-in-cheek, really.
Yeah.
But she really took this on board. And so she gave herself a Viking name, which was Helga the Red.
Oh, okay.
And every time
you did this to build her confidence up and give her almost like a driving persona.
Yeah, because she kept saying, I can't imagine myself being behind the wheel.
Yeah, so you tried to get her to imagine being
So it's like seeing someone else. When you get in the car, you're somebody else.
A confident, strong
you're a confident driver.
Yeah.
You can drive anywhere. And none of this stuff's happened to you before.
Yeah.
And but she really went with it. So every single lesson she was like, right, today I'm Helga the Red and nothing's going to bother me, I'm not going to fear. And then when I took her to the driving test, they always say when they come out, so the examiners introduce themselves, said, what would you like to be called? And because she went fully with this on the driving test, I want to be called Helga the Red. And the examiners looked at me and I was like, let's go with it.
I thought, I'm going to have to tell my mum that I'm getting married. So I bought a phone card. So I used to buy a phone card. It was I remember it was 100 shillings, which was about £1, and it only gave you a certain amount of time on the phone. Well, by the time my mum got to the phone, you had to go to a call box. By the time my mum got to the phone card, the money had gone. So I couldn't tell her. And I was getting married the next day. So I was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I just got married. As you do. And then I wrote her a letter.
Right.
And so in the letter I said, I was ringing yesterday.
No picture.
No picture, because, we didn't have...
I was going to say, actually, where were you going to get that developed?
Yeah, I would have had to have gone to... I was on an island with literally, this is a very...
drawing.
Yeah. This is what I want him to look like. This is my artist's impression of my husband.
I feel like you need to draw that for one of the visuals for this program.
Little dreadlocks. He had little dreadlocks. I could draw those. Somebody had brought a substance in. They'd had to decontaminate, basically. So the patient and all the staff had to go through this decontamination tent. Well, you just have to strip off everything. It gets bagged. You can't even have your mobile phone, nothing. Wow. It all gets bagged. You go through the decontamination tent. You have a cold shower. Ooh. Come out the other side. But this being the NHS, right, they've not got any nice big fluffy towels. Nobody's even thought about bringing sheets or blankets for these people. So basically all the staff, and, you know, of varying sizes, some probably need a bigger towel than others, are all just given this tiny little NHS towel. And then they have to walk through the whole department where all the patients are, all of them in these little tiny towels, and then sit for about 3 hours before they're allowed any of their things back. Nobody was allowed to leave, so it was the end of their shift, so they're all sat there.
Gosh.